Hey kids, it's Englentine here with another batch of independent comic books, a whole bunch of substitutes for the declining Marvel, and aren't they kind of pissing you off enough to go searching for something new? And I've got just a couple that are bad, but I got a lot that have really kind of opened my eyes to some new stuff. So, hope you enjoy, and I hope you find something that you might like here. The one-star books are the worst of the worst, the ones you should definitely avoid. So, look at this. All-time comics, Blind Justice, #1. Holy crap, I saw this cover, I was like, yes, this is going on my list. I mean, that is one cool-looking cover. And that's how we do independents. With Marvel and DC, we just split them up. We know we're going to do all of them. But independents, this is why we don't have a whole bunch of 1s and 2s, because we pick what we're going to read. So a lot of times we try not to pick ones we think are going to suck. Unfortunately, occasionally something gets by those defenses, and you get something like All-Time Comics Blind Justice #1, where the dialogue just seems like it's been lifted from other better sources. The art is uninspiring. I do think it's funny that they drew Wilford Brimley on this page. That's cool. So, it's got something. But definitely not enough to save this train wreck of a book. Bloodstrike #1, 25th Anniversary Edition. Look at this cover. I remember when it was Raised Blood and everything like that. Back in old, what was it, 92? Wow. How much I was looking forward to checking this out. And you can just look right here. I mean, the art is amazing in this book. It is just Liefeldian. It's so cool. So actually, nothing in this book makes it special. The only thing that makes it a 25th anniversary special is re-released 25 years later. Otherwise, it is exactly the same book you can find for a quarter anywhere. I mean, it is exactly the same. There is nothing improved. The art isn't redrawn. There's no special thing at the back. It was just the same old crap told all over again. Nothing here is worth it. Look at this. I gotta say, he had an eye for action, but he just could not lay anything out, and he definitely couldn't draw it. Although, funny how it's still better than a lot of the stuff you're seeing coming from Marvel these days. Well, he still had, the problems with the feet, the ridiculous poses, the ridiculous guns and pouches. Everything's here if you're a Liefeld fan, but if not, don't even bother. Grumpy Cat and Garfield #1. All right, I was looking forward to this one. Not really. But at least it exceeded expectations, but not really. Okay, so here we go, guys. What happened here is they introduced Grumpy Cat and Garfield, and it turns out that there's a company that wants to be able to train cats like dogs. They came up with a method of it, and they're sure it's going to be a billion-dollar idea. So they go forth to try to find the two worst cats in America, and of course they find Garfield and Grumpy Cat. And thus the non-jokes ensue. There's a lot of ensuing of non-jokes here. I mean, this is one very unfunny, supposedly funny book. They spent a lot of time on the idea, no time on the humor, and I will not be reading issue 2. I would rather watch both Garfield movies than to read issue 2 of this series. The 2-star books are merely bad with some saving grace keeping them from being truly horrible. Kid Sherlock #2. So I figured, okay, let's check this one out. Saw the cover and went, uh-oh. This might not be good. But it's got kind of a similar artwork to Brave Chef Brianna, so hey, why not? Let's give it a try. And we've got a dog, Watson, and young girl named Emma, and they're all at school, and Emma's dolls go missing. So she asks Kid Sherlock to help her out. He says no. And then it's just basically nothing. I mean, the dog says, hey, you're not my friend. And everybody's trying to get him to help out. But overall, it tries to tell jokes. It's not funny. It It's not mysterious. There's no tone to it, really. I guess if you've got really small kids and they want a comic book while you're shopping and you want to get them something, it's good. But otherwise, nah, it's not very good at all. The 3-star books are merely average. You might like them, you might hate them. For us, it just didn't move the needle. Grim Tales of Terror number 7. In this issue, there's a man, he becomes the guardian of a nephew, and the nephew and his friends one time are playing around, acting like they're going to conjure up the devil, and they do. But the devil's not interested in the kids. Instead, he hears the man saying he would actually deal with the devil in order to get a certain girl to love him. Now, the whole problem with this book, and it's not a bad book. The last issue, number 6, was actually very good. But this one, as soon as it starts, you know where it's going to go. And it goes every step of the way, you know the way it's going to. Okay, so he sells his soul to get the girl, but the girl doesn't really want to be in the relationship, so she's bitchy. She wants a rich guy, so he gets her money. And he continues to get deeper and deeper in with the devil. And you kind of see the ending coming from a mile away. And this is just a problem with the anthology books. Sometimes they're going to be home runs and sometimes there's going to be strikeouts. This one is a single at best. The Walking Dead number 170. Alrighty, 170 issues. Man, I was right there at the beginning too. Problem is I am starting to not recognize characters. I guess I got to follow this a lot more closer now. And this issue is one of those that's between the big storylines. It's starting the next storyline, I guess. As some people are leaving and some are following Negan. And we've got problems with Dwight and Rick. What ends up happening to this issue, it wants to follow every character and every storyline so much that it feels very episodic, as only a couple of pages are dedicated to any character. So there's really no flow to this book. Now, The Walking Dead is a pretty good character story. That being said, if it's not focusing on anything, it just seems to be a jack of all trades but master of none. The 4-star books are good. These are the stories and comics we can actually recommend. Back to the Future, Biff to the Future, number 6. So, obviously, I'm not going to recommend anybody jump on at this point. This is the very last issue. Get it in the trades, though. Okay, it ends just as dark as it begins. This is basically the Biff Tannen timeline after he gets the Gray's Almanac. And he makes his bet, and he comes to power. In this issue, he's actually found another time machine that Doc Brown is invented, and he's planning to go into the future and get a whole bunch of business statistics to become even more power, maybe even the president. And it's fun. I mean, the art is very cartoonish, which kind of belies the whole darkness element to it. I mean, people die in this story. It really is a book that looks like it's for kids, but it's mostly for people like me who remember seeing those films first time around. Elsewhere, number 1. What a treat this book is. This is a combination of Avatar, of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I mean, and a little bit of maybe Bone or Wizard of Oz, where Amelia Earhart, of all people, finds herself in a different world where they have flying kind of horses like they do in Avatar. She meets a couple of guys escaping from a castle looking for her friend. She hears that her friend may be in the castle, so that they were trying to escape from, so they have to go back and rescue him. It's fun, it's exciting, it's adventurous. That's a word you don't use to describe a lot of comic books today. The art is okay. It's not amazing, but I think they do a fine job at it. And in the end, I really want to read issue number 2 right now. Superb number 1. So, this takes place in a world where superheroes exist. However, because one of them developed superpowers, lost control, and destroyed what looks like a city, or at least a city block, killing a lot of people, they now have a detection process in order to find potential superpowered beings they call the Enhanced. And there's one that managed to slip past these screenings and is going on about being a superhero, a costume superhero. All the while he's being hunted. It's entertaining. I've got to give it to it. I mean, it's not great, but it is good. It's a solid book, and I would be interested in following this story. It mainly focuses on a young black girl who has yet to show superpowers. However, since she is front and center in the story, I would expect that to happen pretty soon. It's a good story, decent art, and yeah, something new. A new take on the superhero genre. And the 5-star books are the best of the best, the ones we highly recommend for the week. Ash versus the Army of Darkness #2. Let me tell you something. Dynamite Comics is really just one of my favorite independent comic book companies. I don't know. Maybe I'll line them up at some point, but this is just very cool. And it reads like the movies watch. It's so hard to do humor in comics because you're basically reading it with your own head. And in this case, I do admit that I put Bruce Campbell's voice into the character of Ash, and hopefully it comes out right. But a lot of times humor just falls flat. So funny books aren't all that funny, but this one is. And they're just tropes from the movies that happen here. The jokes are on point. The art is fun. This is a really cool book. Shirtless Bear Fighter #2 just makes me wonder, why didn't I read Shirtless Bear Fighter #1? This book is amazing. I mean, this is holy Toledo. It's just, first of all, it deals with bears attacking cities. You got this overlord black bear. You got a pig wizard. And you've got a shirtless bear fighter. This is like, I'm not going to say sci-fi. This is like an old style horror film from like the 70s or 80s that is way too stupid, but acted way too sincerely for what it actually is. And it all works. I mean, this is just not even a B movie put on page. This is like a D movie put on page, and it's tons of fun. Alrighty, there you go, guys. A whole bunch of independent comics. Some to take you away from those Marvel blues, and what was it, like 3 that would cause the same kind of Marvel blues? Bloodstrike did not hold up after 25 years, kids. It is still horrible. But anyway, did you find something that looked like it might appeal to you? Was there someone who said, hey, you know what, that could be interesting? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, you want to see more, click like, click share again because we really need it. And if you haven't already, click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Also, head on over to that Patreon page or the VidMe. Drop $1 in the till. The links are in the description below, and we do have patron-only content. So, hey, you get something for the buck. Alrighty, well, thank you to everybody who's going to do that. Thank you to everybody who already has. And thank you to everyone for watching.
Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra codera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra codera. Riu, riu, shiu, la guarda rivera.